Long ago, in the wild, rugged lands of Norway, a boy was born who would become a legend. His name was Harald Sigurdsson, but history would come to know him by another name. Harald Hardrada, the Hard Ruler. His journey was one of blood, battles, and ambition. And as we follow his path, we'll see how this Viking king left a mark so deep, it would signal the end of the Viking Age itself. Harald's story begins in the year 1015, in the kingdom of Ringerike, Norway. He was born into a world of power and conflict. His half-brother, Olaf, was already king of Norway, and Harald looked up to him as both a mentor and a hero. When Harald was just 15, a great battle was brewing, a fight for the very throne of Norway. Olaf had been overthrown by King Canute and his great forces. Harald was ready to take back his crown. Young Harald wouldn't sit on the sidelines. He joined Olaf, leading 600 men into the bloody clash known as the Battle of Stiklestad. Harald fought with the heart of a seasoned warrior, but fate was not on their side. The battle was lost, Olaf was killed, and Harald was left seriously wounded. Harald fled to Norway, but even in defeat, something had awakened in him. He had tasted war, and he was destined for more. And so, Harald's journey began. He made his way east, to the distant kingdom of Kievan Rus, where he found refuge under the protection of Grand Prince Yaroslav the Wise. Yaroslav saw potential in the young Viking and made him a captain in his army. Harald fought alongside the prince in countless battles, but it wasn't enough to satisfy his hunger for glory. Harald's ambition drove him farther south, to the great city of Constantinople, the heart of the Byzantine Empire. There, Harald joined the Varangian Guard, an elite force of Viking warriors. He rose through the ranks quickly, commanding soldiers in lands as distant as Sicily and Jerusalem. He became a legend in his own right, a Viking leading battles for the mightiest empire in the world. But even in the Byzantine court, treachery was never far away. In 1041, Emperor Michael IV died, and a bitter struggle for power began. Harald found himself caught in the web of Byzantine politics. Imprisoned by the new emperor, Michael V, Harald's story could have ended in chains, but that was not his fate. He broke free, and with the loyalty of his Varangians, he led a revolt. Harald wasn't just a warrior, he was a survivor. He knew when to fight, and when to forge alliances. By the time the dust settled, Harald had escaped Constantinople with untold riches and a reputation that would follow him across the world. After years of fighting in foreign lands, Harald finally returned home. But Norway was no longer his brother's kingdom. The throne was held by Magnus the Good, his own nephew. Harald, ever the strategist, didn't rush into battle this time. Instead, he struck a deal: he would rule Norway alongside Magnus as co-king. Within a year, Magnus died under mysterious circumstances, leaving Harald the sole ruler of Norway. Now, the Hard Ruler had the kingdom he had always dreamed of. But Harald was not a man to be content with just one crown. In 1066, an opportunity arose that he couldn't resist. England was in turmoil. King Edward the Confessor had died without an heir, and a power struggle erupted for the English throne. Harald, driven by his endless ambition, set sail for England, determined to claim it for himself. He formed an alliance with Tostig, the exiled brother of Harold Godwinson, England's new king. Together, they launched an invasion, storming the north of England with ferocious speed. But at Stamford Bridge, they would meet their match. Harold Godwinson's forces arrived faster than expected, catching Harold's army off guard. The fighting was brutal. Harald, as always, was at the heart of the battle, leading his men. But in the chaos, an arrow found its mark, piercing Harald's throat. The great king, the last Viking, fell. With Harald's death at Stamford Bridge, a chapter of history closed. The Viking Age, which had terrorized and transformed Europe for centuries, came to an end. But Harald's legacy lived on. He had ruled with an iron fist, fought in distant lands, and carved his name into the sagas of history. He was more than a king, he was the last great Viking. And so, Harald Hardrada's story ends, but his legend lives on. a tale of war, ambition, and a Viking spirit that refused to fade. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more amazing tales. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let us know which historical figure you'd like to hear about next. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Skål.